Boston, Massachusetts is one of the most expensive cities in the United States, which can make even a short weekend trip there quickly unaffordable. Regardless, it's a beautiful, historical city and super tourist-friendly. So, is it worth a visit? Hi, I'm Taylor, and I've lived in Boston for several years, but now live in Los Angeles.
Also, if you're interested in LA, be sure to check out my last vlog. In this vlog, I'll be going back to Boston because I'm graduating. And if you didn't know, I've been a PhD student these past 5 years and completed my degree remotely. So the main purpose of my trip is to go get my diploma.
So this is a personal vlog.
Well, it will have some personal elements because I do want to share parts of the graduation weekend.
Yeah, sounds thrilling.
But I want to focus more of this vlog on Boston prices.
So you're just gonna vlog about how much everything costs?
Okay, false. It'll be more than just numbers, but let's be honest, our time and energy is precious. So if I could show you just a little more of Boston to help you decide, I think that's helpful.
Great. Upper management just approved your vlog idea.
Oh, thank God. So, this vlog may be of interest to you if
you may be considering travel to Boston, you're interested in seeing some of Boston's tourist attractions, or you're here just because. And also, side note, I wear a wig, so my hair will change a few times during this video. More about that in the linked video there.
And, as always,
please like and subscribe.
So my flight to Boston is a red-eye, which means we leave late in the evening, arrive early in the morning. It's about 6:05 now, and my flight leaves at 9:20, so let's go.
Hotels may hands down be your biggest Boston-related travel expense. On average, Boston hotels are over $200 per night, and often much more once you click on the hotel website and uncover the taxes, fees, false advertising, the huge. Also, some of the cheaper places listed on the maps are not hotels at all, but spare rooms and shared spaces like Airbnbs and hostels, which could be perfect for you, but is not for everyone, so beware.
So I'm flying economy, and my goal is to sleep as much as possible. I packed with me a neck pillow, and in here I have an eye mask, earplugs, and I also have melatonin, to be totally honest with you. So we'll see how this goes.
Red eyes can be rough, and they can leave you tired all day, so they might not be worth it to you at all. However, sometimes they're cheaper and more convenient than other flights, and depending on your travel schedule, could act as a substitute for an extra night at a hotel.
And we landed, and I'm also meeting my family here, but their flight doesn't get in for like 2 hours, so I have time to nap.
Luckily, there are a lot of public transport options to get from the airport to the city. We are taking the Logan Express, which is a shuttle that goes from the airport to different parts of the city in neighboring towns. The trip from the airport is free, and the trip to the airport is only $3. The shuttles run every 30 minutes or so, but of course, check everything out online in advance. Other ways to get from the airport include the subway system called the T, which has Blue Line and Silver Line stops for the airport. I have taken both of these before, and they could be good options to save money. However, if you get on at a busy time, you can suffer long waits, and you might not have enough room for your luggage. Also, of course, you can always take an Uber or a taxi, but beware because the surge pricing is real.
So we just got to the hotel, which is in the Back Bay area. And specifically, we're right next to the Prudential Center, which is a mall. And it's raining outside and we're kind of jet lagged. So we're going to see the mall because there is a lot to see in the mall. And
Honestly, I just like malls, so.
Yeah. The Prudential Center and neighboring Copley Place are shopping malls. However, with Boston's often unpleasant weather, they also serve as convenient thoroughfares in Back Bay, as covered pedestrian walkways connect the two buildings. The malls are also connected to subway stops on the green and orange lines, and have a few points of interest, including View Boston, which we will explore later, and Eataly, which is a mini immersive shopping experience centered on Italian products, including pasta, confections, and more, as well as houses, restaurants.
surprisingly, the jet lag hasn't hit for me yet. And it has stopped raining, so we're going to go to Newbury Street, which is a touristy area. It's in Back Bay, and it's really close to the hotel.
Newbury Street runs east to west and sits between Boylston and Commonwealth Avenue. I love this part of town, and it's home to many boutique shops as well as eateries. 2 points of interest include Trident Booksellers and Cafe, which is a bookstore and restaurant that is a labyrinth of a place and is a great place to find quirky gifts as well as, of course, books. Also, there is Central Perk Coffee. And yes, it is that Central Perk coffee from the TV sitcom Friends. It's a replica cafe where you can get coffee, lunch-type foods, as well as hoodies for $64.99 plus tax.
So it started raining again, but unlike this morning, at least it's only a light rain. And I love Boston. It is my favorite city, but this is the thing I can't stand. The weather. There's too much of it and it changes too much. But regardless, this is a beautiful street.
While Newbury Street can be pretty at any time of the year, it's especially nice on a summer Saturday when portions of the road are closed to cars and people line the streets selling their wares. So it's not the best time right now, but come back later, I guess.
And the rest of my day is filled with family, friends stuff,
but I do want to show you more of Boston, especially the surrounding area, which I won't get to on this trip. So I've prepared this little interlude of sorts.
Hey, I just wanted to interrupt and say that because I've lived in Boston for so many years, I won't be doing all of the touristy stuff on this trip. However, I've done all of it in the past and want to share some of the sites with you, including Cambridge.
Cambridge, Massachusetts is right across the river from Boston. Notable spots in Cambridge include Harvard Square, which is a shopping area worth exploring, Harvard Yard, which are the gated grounds of Harvard University, which are open to the public most days during working hours. Though, note you can't enter the buildings. However, you can visit Harvard's many museums. I've been to most of them, and my favorite is the Art Museum, which has an impressive collection, even though the museum isn't huge. This museum is also free. And if you're more interested in Harvard, I went there and can show you more in this other vlog.
If you're anti-Harvard, you could also go to the other side of Cambridge, which is home to MIT.
The MIT campus is the opposite of the brick ivy aesthetic, but also super impressive, and you have to check out this building in particular. Also, there's the MIT Museum, which has a bunch of nerdy yet engaging science-y exhibits, but the tickets also cost that much, so I'm pro Harvard.
And both Harvard and MIT have their own T-stops on the Red Line, which means it's very easily accessible if you're coming from downtown, and could be worth the visit for you. Good morning. It is cooler today and it's going to rain again. And even though I love Boston, this is one of those cities where you can plan to come during the best time of the year and the weather is still just really bad. So that's something to be aware of. Today, we're going on a bus tour, so let's go.
He was born in Boston, 1738.
So we are doing the hop on, hop off trolley tour. It runs every 30 minutes, hits the most popular tourist attractions, and costs more than I'd like to pay, quite frankly. We purchased this tour on Viator. I personally like this service, and I use similar ones, but I'm putting the link here in case you want to check out this tour or similar Boston tours.
Also, here are some other tour highlights.
Copley Square, where you can find the beautiful Trinity Church and Boston Public Library.
And I would highly, highly recommend that you stop at the library. It looks like a museum. There are just so many rooms. It's a tourist attraction in itself. Also, what you're seeing right now is the old section, which is connected by a courtyard to the modern looking section, which is also kind of pretty. And this is one of the only free attractions in the area, so might as well.
The Seaport neighborhood, which is home to the Boston Tea Party Museum, Children's Museum, and Contemporary Arts Museum, as well as the North End, which is the historically Italian neighborhood and the home of Paul Revere's house.
So we got off at the Quincy Market stop, and as you can see, there's a lot of shops here. It's very touristy. Also, Quincy Market could be a great place to get Boston souvenirs. So that was a great tour, and honestly, a long, cold day.
And even though we saw a lot, we didn't see everything, which is why I prepared another short interlude for you. And because Boston is one of the best cities in America with so much to do,
I simply didn't do everything in this weekend. But I do want to share some other things that could be of interest to you, like the Museum of Fine Arts.
The Museum of Fine Arts, which according to Wikipedia, is the 20th largest art museum in the world. So that's pretty cool. I personally love this museum, but it is a little further away from the touristy area, so maybe you won't make it there.
These next two are a little out of the way, but could be totally worth it if you're a history buff. Specifically, there is the Bunker Hill Monument, which you can go inside and has a beautiful view, as well as a museum. And there's the USS Constitution, which has a museum, and you can go on the ship, and it's by the water. But they are just a little further outside of the city, but worth mentioning.
Also, there's whale watching, which is personally not my thing, but I've heard from many that it was the highlight of their Boston trip, so worth mentioning.
Good morning. It's my last full day in Boston, and I just want to take a moment to check in about the food situation. I would say hands down my favorite cafe is Tatte, which is a bakery cafe.
So it has a lot of pastries and coffee and other foods. And one thing that's really interesting about it is it's a French-Israeli place. So all of their dishes, it's one or the others or some sort of mix or Mediterranean or just cafe stuff, but there's a lot to choose from, and I go every time I'm in Boston. The thing I don't like, however, is that it can often be very crowded here. Honestly, I'm not a foodie, and we mainly just ended up going to places we already liked, so those are the places we went to. Maybe you've been to, let me know.
However, if you do want to get Boston famous food, I highly recommend that you go to the food court at Quincy Market, where you can get clam chowder, lobster rolls, and a lot of other fast casual options. Also, there's Regina's Pizzeria, which is a pizza place, and Mike's Pastries, which sells pastries. They're both Boston born and Boston very famous, so you can check those out. The great thing about Boston is there are so many different neighborhoods, and a lot of them are touristy and they have a lot of food options. So there are a lot of food trucks in Seaport
depends on the time of the year. There's a lot of Italian stuff in the North End, but there are food places throughout, so it's worth exploring if you are into the food scene. Honestly, I'm actually walking to Tatte for the second time of this trip, but after that, we're going to view Boston.
View Boston is a 360-degree observation deck at the top of the Prudential building. It's 3 levels, and spoiler alert, the view is the same on each level, and has a small museum-like exhibit on the lowest level, as well as 2 pricey bars and restaurants. I personally really like this exhibit. I think I've been literally 3 times now. Currently, the tickets are $24 for adults.
And up next is graduation, which I know is long and boring, so I condensed it into a period of
6 seconds.
for your viewing pleasure. So I had a great trip. And before I go, I want to share some of my Boston travel tips with you so you can also have a nice Boston adventure. Consider taking public transportation. Not gonna lie, at times it can be a pain, especially when it's really crowded during rush hour. But if not, it's a cheap and easy way to get from one side of the city to the other.
But Boston's also pretty spread out, so consider taking a hop-on, hop-off tour or a duck tour so you can see more of the sights quickly.
Remember, Boston has intense weather, cold, windy, rainy, insufferably hot, humid, gray, or otherwise dank, depending on the time of year.
And unpopular opinion, don't do the Freedom Trail unless you love history and love walking, because that's all it is. It's a walking history tour of Boston, and you can do it, but don't feel pressured to do the full thing. Just do what you want. I don't know why it's ranked so highly,
It's just another tour. There are other tours. But if that's what you want to do, you should do it. I'm just saying. I don't think everyone needs to do it when they come to Boston.
So what do you think? Boston worth it or?
Nah.
In my opinion, it is. But it's also very expensive. And I will be honest and say big cities all have interesting things. So you don't have to go to all of them. So no worries if you don't make it to Boston. But let me know what you think about Boston in the comments. I will say that I'm going to vlog again soon because I have another trip coming up, which will be exciting. But also let me know what sorts of things you want to see from me in the comments.
Please like and subscribe.
And as always, thanks for joining.